All right, welcome back from spring break. Today we're going to take a look at the second way that we can solve non-right triangles. Before we went on spring break, we learned that we could use our law of sines anytime we were given two angles, but not always will we be given two angles. So we have to come up with another way that we can find missing sides and angles, and this would be our law of sines. So the two scenarios of when we would use our law of sines is if we're given all three sides, which is referred to as SSS for side, side, side. If you're given all three sides, you don't have to, but it's usually suggested that you find the largest angle first, which should always be across from the longest side. And then the other situation is if we are given two sides and the angle in between, and that's referred to as side angle side. And what that means is if we had a triangle that looks something like this, and I had two sides labeled as, let's say it's like 10 and 15, the included angle is the angle formed by those two sides. Okay, so it would be the angle right up here. So that would be referred to as side angle side. Okay, but since we split our chapter, you know that any non-right triangle, we're going to use our law of sines. So, there are some formulas. Okay, one is referred to as our standard form. The other is referred to as our alternative form. Now, the standard form, okay, we're going to use when we're trying to find a side. Okay. Now, there's three formulas, and they're all pretty much the same pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and let you copy down those formulas, and they can, pause the video so you can write these down. And then if you notice your formulas, the lowercase letters again represent the sides, the capital letters are angle. And since it's law of cosines, we'll be using cosine function throughout. So it's going to start with one of the sides, a squared, and that would be the side that you're trying to find. Okay? Then it's equals b squared plus c squared equals 2 times b times c times the cosine of angle A. So whatever side you are trying to find, the angle that you're using is the angle directly across from it. So notice in our second formula, it starts with the lowercase b, meaning it's the side b, and we have to use angle B as part of the problem. Okay, so whatever side it is you're trying to find will dictate which formula you use. So if you're trying to find side C, you use the formula that starts with side C. If you're trying to find side A, you'd use the formula that has side A, or that starts with side A. Okay, now if we want to try and find an angle, okay, you will choose one of these three formulas, and I'll uncover these, and again we can pause the video. Okay, now how these formulas were derived is basically taking our standard form and solving it for the angle, like cosine of A, we have to divide by the -2, which whatever. Okay, so again, whatever angle you're trying to find, if you're trying to find angle A first, you'd use the formula that has angle A. If you're looking for angle B, you would use the formula that has angle B. Same thing with the C. Now, we won't really need to memorize these formulas. These will be provided for you. So you don't need to memorize them. You'll just need to know which one you need to use. Okay, so let's take a look at our first example. Again, we're going to sketch the triangle the same way we've been doing all along. Again, it doesn't matter where you put any of the angles because, again, this is a non-right triangle. So I'm going to label in the one angle that I know, the 69.3, and then I need to label the sides. So the lowercase a of 17.4 goes directly across from angle A, and side C, 10.2, goes directly across from angle C. Okay? So notice we have it set up as the side angle side. So now we need to figure out what we have to find first. So first thing we should always find pretty much is the missing side if we're not given that third side. So the side that we're trying to find is side B. Okay, so if I look at my formula, I'm going to choose this formula here because it's the one that starts with the b, so that's the side we're trying to find. So it's just a matter of plugging the values into our equation. So it's b squared equals the a squared plus c squared minus 2 times the a times the c times the cosine of angle B, which is the 69.3. Okay? Since the only variable we have is on the left and we have all the values filled in on the right, you can type all of this in to your calculator at one time. Okay? And again, we need to be in the degree mode. So when we do that, it gives us an answer of 281.3. That's for b squared. So to find b, I have to take the square root. So we get an answer of 16.8. Okay, so there we have our side, 16.8. So now what I have left to find are the two angles. Again, it does not matter which one you choose to find first. I'm going to go ahead and choose to find angle A. So if I look back at my formulas, I'm going to choose the one that starts with the capital A, angle A. So that's the one I'm going to use. So it's cosine of A, which I don't know. Then it equals my b squared. Woo! Plus my c squared minus my a squared over 2 times the b times the c. Oops. Okay. Now you can punch all this into our calculator at one time. Okay. So we can go ahead and simplify the top first. Okay, so if you type in 16.8 squared plus 10.2 squared minus 17.4 squared, it gives us 83.52. Then we'll simplify the bottom. 2 times 16.8 times 10.2. It gives us 342.72. Okay. Now thinking back to our SOHCAHTOA, anytime we're trying to look for an angle, what button do we have to hit first? Hopefully you all remember it's the second key. So you type in second cosine and then divide that fraction, 83.52 divided by 342.72. Okay, and when we do that, it gives us an answer, and we're going to round to 1 decimal place, or the nearest tenth. Should give us 75.9. Alright, let's try that again. Okay, and now then, I found my second angle, so if we want, we can label it in there, 75.9. So now I have two angles of a triangle, so to find that third remaining angle, we can subtract the two angles from 180. 75.9. So it gives us angle C to be 34.8 degrees. Okay. So really this is just a matter of plugging values into our formula. So let's take a look at our second one. So let's go ahead and make a sketch of our triangle. Okay. Label my angles. It doesn't matter. Just make sure the lowercase letters go directly across from the capital letters. So 3 is across from A, 5 is across from B, 7 is across from C. So this time we have side, side, side. So we're not given any of the angle values. We're given all the sides. So it just recommended that we should try and find the largest angle first. So we're going to try and do angle C is what we're going to try and find first. Okay. So it's going to be cosine C, and then it's our a squared plus b squared minus c squared over 2 times ab. So 3 times 5. Okay. Then we'll type the top part into our calculator as well as the bottom part. Okay. So when we do that, it gives us negative 15 over 30. And again, since we're looking for an angle, we have to hit second cosine and divide the fraction. So if we do that, second cosine, do negative 15 divided by 30, and it gives us angle C to be 120 degrees. Okay, now from here we have to find our second angle. So let's just go angle B. It's the second smallest. So we'll do cosine of B, because that's what we're trying to find. Then it's our A squared plus C squared minus B squared over 2 times A times C. So notice the two that we're always multiplying together on the bottom are the two that are being added together. So go ahead and plug those into your calculator and see what fraction we get. Okay, so now that we have the fraction, we should have gotten 33 over 2. Then we try and find the angle. So we have to hit second cosine, divide that fraction. So then it gives us angle B should come up to be 38, and we can round that to the nearest whole number. And then lastly, we now have two angles of the triangle, so to find that third angle A, we can just subtract those two angles from 180. And then we should come up with angle A being 22 degrees. Okay, and let's take a look at our last example. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead, pause the video, and have you draw the triangle and label it. Okay, so we should have our triangle drawn. So the first thing we should find then, if we're not given that third side, that's the side we should find first. So since we're trying to find side C, we'll use the formula that starts with the C squared. So I'd like for you to go ahead and plug in your values and see what we come up with. So you can pause the video again. Okay, so hopefully we plugged it in correctly. It's the A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times the cosine of C. When you plug that all in, we get 1,224. Then take the square root of it, so we get our C to be 35. So now what we have left are the two angles. Again, it doesn't matter which one you choose. Let's go ahead and try B. Oops, let's try that in blue. Okay, so since we're trying to find angle B, we're going to use the formula that starts with the cosine of B. So it's going to be our A squared plus C squared minus the B squared all over 2 times the A times C. Okay, why don't you guys go ahead and plug it in and see what we come up with as an answer. Okay, so when we plug it in, it gives us 262.52 over 847, and then again, since you're looking for the angle, it's second cosine, divide the fraction. We get an answer of 71.9, and then our last step is to find that last remaining angle, and then we can subtract the two angles from 180, and then we get angle A to be 20.3. Okay, so let's have you guys try a problem, or at least one or two with the whiteboards. Okay, so here's the first example. So go ahead and copy it down and try and work through it. And then pause the video, and then we'll reveal the answers. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so we sketch our triangle. Again, it doesn't matter where the capital letters go, just lowercase goes directly across from its angle. So I chose to find the largest angle, which would be the one across from the longest side, so it's angle C. So when we plug in our values, and it gives me the fraction negative 115 over 416. And then we said anytime we're looking for the angle, it's second cosine, divide the fraction, and gives us 111.3. Then I chose to find the next smallest angle, which would be across from the side 16. So I chose to find angle A. Again, I plugged in my values. It gave me the fraction 489 over 624. Again, since you're looking for the angle, it's second cosine, divide the fraction. It gives us an answer of 38.4. And then once we have two angles, we can subtract it from 180 to get the third. Okay, so hopefully that all made sense. And then if not, we'll talk about it next class.